So our topic tonight is let love into your life. Is that right? Good idea. Good idea. So we're going to talk about a few things in relation to all of this. Many things are connected, as always. Those of you who have been to my previous talks, you've heard what I'm going to say now. But those of you who haven't, this is all very important information, something that we all need to know. This is how the understanding of life really begins. And that is knowing who we are, subject of identity. We speak from the platform of the Vedic scriptures. This is called Vedic knowledge. Veda means truth. The Vedic scriptures are the most ancient scriptures. Actually, they were written down 5,000 years ago. But the knowledge contained in this Vedic scriptures is eternal. So prior to being written down, it was passed down orally from one perfect master to the next. Such a line of perfect teachers is known as a disciplic succession, or a parampara. We are in the parampara known as the Brahma Sampradaya, and we feel very fortunate to receive our knowledge through this lineage. So this is not my opinion, see. I'm just passing on this eternal science. So in the Vedas, it says that we should all ask ourselves the question, who am I? But unfortunately, we almost never ask this question because we think we already know the answer. Now, certainly we all have our identity. We've had them our whole life. We have in our minds, we have them on our lips, we have them in our pockets. Meaning, this is who I think I am, this is who I tell others I am, and I can prove it. Here's my passport, my documents, you see. Now, we accept this, and so does everyone else. But is this our true identity? And upon close examination, we find this is only a compilation of many labels. And the labeling process begins at birth. So all of us here, right now, soon as we took birth, received one of two labels, male or female. And we still identify like that today. I'm a man or I'm a woman. At the same time, we get another label according to our race, Caucasian, Negroid, whatever it may be. Our national identity can be very strong. I am Canadian, I'm American. And our family identity, we belong to this family. And actually this identity is so strong that every day on this planet one person kills another person just because they got a different label. And this is just the beginning. Many labels come and go throughout our entire life. So once again at birth, we're also known as babies, then kids, we start school, now we're students. A few more years go by, we become teenagers. And then finally adults. We take up some profession in life and we're known accordingly. Doctors, lawyers, secretaries, nurses. Then we get married. Immediately we're a husband or a wife. We have a child, and now we're parents, fathers, mothers. A few more years go by, grandfathers, grandmothers. And this is how we see ourselves. This is me. This is who I am. And this continues on and on until we finally get the last label, dead. You see? But looking closely, we see this is all in relation to our material bodies. Yes, it's true. The body is male or female, black or white, old or young, big or little. Whatever the body is, it is. That is true. The question is this who we are? Every day, we all take our pilgrimage to the mirror to see how we look. Sometimes we're a little disappointed. We always come back the next day. Maybe there's been some improvement. Usually not. But do we really see ourselves? So the question is, am I this material body? Now, if we want the most authoritative answer, we should go to the revealed scriptures of the world. And there we learn very quickly, no, you're not the material body. But this is the modern world. Very rare does anyone go to Scripture to find the truth in life. But we do readily accept the conclusion of the scientist. You see, we like the scientists because they prove things. And in this case, the scientists have proven in the laboratories that we're not our material bodies. They've discovered there's no cell in the human body that lives more than 5 years. Some cells have a very short life. For instance, the lining of the stomach, those cells live 5 days. Our skin cells, 1 month. Liver cells, 6 weeks, etc. But in 5 years, everything has changed. So if I'm looking at a photograph of myself taken 10 years ago, the eyes in the photograph are different than the eyes I'm looking at the photograph with. Actually, not the same eyes. According to this scientific knowledge, if I'm 35 years old, I've had 7 bodies. But of course, we all know we're not 7 different people. Everybody knows, hey, I'm still me. So the changing factor is the material body. The constant factor is ourself. Yeah, we're not these material bodies. Now at this point, some people become introspective. They begin to look inside to find out who they really are. And when we do look inside, what do we find? Oh, there's emotion, desire, sentiment, feeling, will, all very real. And it's easy to conclude, aha, this is who I really am. Maybe we even have some experience that reinforces this. Let's say we're very emotionally upset. And we recognize when people look at us, they don't see us. All they see is the outside cover. So we might feel very lonely. Sometimes we even say, gee, nobody really knows me. But again, we must confirm this conclusion with Scripture, especially the Vedic scriptures, because they're very detailed in this knowledge. And when we do, we find we made another mistake. This is not who we are either. This is actually another material body. It's called the subtle mental body, sometimes called the astral body. I know some of you have heard of the astral body. So really we have 2 bodies. We've got our physical body and we have our mental body. Like having on 2 layers of clothing. We have our outer layer and then we have our underlayer. But who are we? So once again, we go to the Vedas. And there we learn we are in a different category of energy. Everything is energy. Our bodies are material energy. But we learn that we are a spiritual energy. And we further learn we're a tiny little spark of spiritual energy. We learn that material energy is temporary. And that's very easy to see. We know all too well our bodies are very temporary. So much so we don't even want to talk about it. Hey, don't talk about that, see? But even the more permanent things like this building, come back here in 1,000 years. Gee, where was that lecture again? See? Temporary. But we learned that spirit is eternal. Eternal means no beginning and no end. So we are eternal. We also learn material energy is non-living, and that's easy to see. This table or this microphone, there's no life. But we learn that spirit is life itself. There's no such thing as live matter. There's no such thing as dead spirit. We are the life force in the body. And as long as we're present in the body's called alive. But actually this is not true. The body is dead. We are alive. And that becomes very obvious at the time of death. At the time of death, we leave the body. And at that moment, the body reveals its true nature. You can't even sit in a chair. It falls on the floor. See? So we are the life force in the body. Therefore, our true identity is spirit soul. Spirit meaning that we're spiritual in essence. Soul meaning the individual spiritual sparks that we eternally are. We never become someone else. We never cease to exist. Now, for some people, it's very depressing news. What? I'll always be me? Gee, I thought it's going to be over soon. Sorry, it's never over. But when we learn the truth in life, this becomes very wonderful news. So once again, we are spirit soul. We further learn we're part and parcel of the supreme soul. There is a supreme soul from which we all come. We are known as the Atma, and the supreme soul is the Paramatma. So this is the foundation of understanding life. If we don't know this, it's impossible to understand life.